Hi, everybody. Welcome to my free local and fun monthly newsletter. It's March 2026, and I've got some great stories for you this month. But I have to say, I'm not the least bit comfortable on video. I'm not the least bit comfortable on video at all. Actually, I'm quite comfortable right now because I'm sitting on a yoga ball because it's comfortable. But video is awkward, and I know that growth is sometimes painful, and I'm just trying. So I remember the first time ever hearing my voice, and it was in fourth grade, Mrs. Sullivan's class at Otter River Elementary School, Otter River fourth grade school. And we had to do our book reports and we had to record them. And I clearly remember thinking, I'm never going to talk out loud again. And it was just awful. But here I am. It's awkward, but I'm outside of my comfort zone, and I guess that's where growth happens. So I was going to write a story this month about pet peeves, and I forgot. But what happened was I did a video a couple of Saturday mornings ago. I had to pick up my daughter, Abigail, from a trip to Brazil. No, I had to bring her to the airport, and just had a few minutes, and I was reminiscing that we had gone out to dinner for Valentine's Day and just had a weird experience, and I made a video about it, and it was, I'm going to say, my most controversial video yet, in that some people really, really appreciated me articulating my pet peeves, and somebody else called me a Karen. So that wasn't what I was looking for. Everything I do is to be good-natured, and I'm a pretty good-natured person. So I will be writing a story next month about pet peeves. These are my little reminder cards. But apparently not this month. So something about my newsletter that was very exciting to me is I get emails from people after the newsletter goes out each month. And I love those because they're people that tell me specific stories they like, or just like what the newsletter does for them. I'm at just about 3,000 local subscribers now, which is really awesome because it's mainly organic growth, just like people tell their friends. So if you don't already subscribe to my newsletter, but you'd like to, you can just look at the comments below in my video. My contact info is there. You could just search my website, jenshenk.com. So that's JENSHENK.com. And then there's a newsletter tab right on the front. And then there's a subscribe button at the bottom of every story. So a couple of feedback items I got last month, which were amazing. I had a nice note from somebody who really appreciated my I love board games that make me laugh. So I'm reprinting that story this month because somebody commented on it in a way that made me smile. So somebody else told me they print my newsletter every month as a reference. So I love that. And then I just got somebody who says, I just love your newsletter. I went to a watch party for the Oakmont boys varsity game. They were playing in Nantucket, and that was far for even a lot of the parents to drive to in a snowstorm. And so I went to a friend/client's house. Her son is playing. If you're watching this and it's somewhere, or what is this, March 6th? If you're watching this and it's before the 7th, I think the 7th is, so if you're watching this today, and you go on the Gardner News website, you could vote for Donovan O'Shaughnessy as the sports athlete of the week. Anyway, I was at his house watching the game with his mother, and his aunt, who I haven't seen in at least a decade, just said, I just love your newsletter. So that just warms my heart, to be honest. So I love nostalgia, and I was on Facebook a few weeks ago, and I saw somebody posted a history of the Snowbound Club. Now, the Snowbound Club is so much part of my childhood, and my parents were some of the founders of the Snowbound Club, which is basically, I just have so many good memories of it. It was just a bunch of friends got together and bought some land in a cellar hole, and their love of snowmobiling and the outdoors. And then just imagine you were a child, maybe 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, and your parents are in their 20s, just based on me doing the math. And there's a lot of snowmobiling and partying and camping going on. So I reprinted the story that I found on Facebook, separate from my part of it. And then I found a bunch of old photos. So it was just really fun, and it just was such a basic club, and it's just really fun to reminisce about that. So if you're from Templeton, Baldwinville, Otter River, Winchendon, wait, all of those were Templeton, or Winchendon, or just have some connection to the Snowbound Club, I would love to hear some more memories of that. My hope is that somebody updates the history of it. It was the story that I read and included was from 2013. So I don't know how much has happened since then, but I know that I'm talking like 1974 was one of the pictures I have in my story. So, I remember it from being, I'm going to say 4 years old, maybe, till probably 10 years old. So that would have been 1974 to 1980. But the Snowbound Club is just a group of friends got together, created a club. Now you can rent the facility, you can go to concerts there. Just really, really fun. So, I love nostalgia and reminiscing, and I love that I found pictures, and it just tracked a whole bunch of memories for me. So I wrote about that. I have an impromptu story, which is why I think I forgot to write the pet peeve story. And this story I called Holy Electric Bill, because a few minutes after I received my electric bill last month for $709, people were all over Facebook complaining. No matter where they lived, they were complaining. So in Princeton, we have PMLD, that's Princeton Municipal Light. And Westminster has National Grid, and a lot of towns have their own municipal. So I dug a little bit into my electric bill, and the more I thought about it, the more it actually made sense. And I put some suggestions in there, not like dumb ones, but real suggestions you could do, including borrow a kilowatt meter, which I explain in my newsletter story called Holy Electric Bill. And a kilowatt meter you plug into your outlet, and then you plug your potentially offending appliance into it, and it tells you how much electricity that thing is using. So I have one. The reason I'm making this video as late as I am is because I could not find it. Since I haven't seen it in about 10 years, it also might not have moved here. But if you're a Princeton Municipal Electric customer, you could borrow one from PMLD. You can also borrow one from the Princeton Public Library, which I thought was interesting. But when I find mine, I will report back, and people are welcome to borrow it. When I really thought about what drove my electric bill up, I think my answer is last February to this February, I had it was about a 700 kilowatt hour difference in a month's worth of usage. And then I thought about it and really thought about it. Well, we did have a vent fan put in a bathroom that didn't have a vent fan before, so that could be it. Wait a minute, the person who uses that bathroom graduated college and is now living at home and dries her hair and takes long showers and has the heat lamp on and all the things. So that could partially answer mine, but I have a bunch of information in there, including how to get an energy audit, just some things you might want to do in Holy Electric Bill. Another story I wrote was called What's for Dinner? It's decided a lot differently now than it was when I was a kid. And it rolls into a recipe for beef stroganoff, which is either the most disgusting thing you've ever eaten, or my new way of making it with delicious ingredients might be the best dinner I've made in a long time. So when I was a kid, and I don't mean to pick on my parents at all, and I had a fine childhood, dinner was like whatever the dad wanted. And my father has a very basic palate, and we had a lot of beef stroganoff, but it wasn't, it was basic. But he also liked kielbasa and just things that I just didn't like. So I've become quite a good cook in my adult years. But this just was talked about how it was decided what we ate, what we did eat, and then why I decided to try to make beef stroganoff and why it just was so delicious. We're done with it as leftovers and I want to start all over again. So what's for dinner? It's decided a lot differently now than when I was a kid. Every once in a while, Jay writes a story. Sometimes if they're controversial, I'll have him write them. But this one is about hunters and gatherers. And funny in the story is that it's about, well, it's got a couple things going on for it, but it's basically how like you've had this happen to you. This was like, I spent like 15 years doing this. Like I would go to work parties with Jay and we'd walk in and he'd say, introduce yourself, because he could never remember anybody's name. And I don't think he tried that hard. And it's just been a thing forever. So there's just a satire website he likes that probably is inappropriate sometimes, but they had a story about basically that the couple goes to a party and the husband immediately forgets everybody's name. So that was, and then I put in the story, which he doesn't even know, and I don't even know if it's really relevant, but I put in a link to a really kind of funny Saturday Night Live skit about 3 missing wives, and no clues were left, which just kidding, all the clues were left. And then just to try to find a picture to represent that, my hunters and gatherers story, because that's his concept is women are gatherers, men are hunters. Don't read anything into that. He's not like sexist or anything like that. But I have a picture of Jay. It was from Jane's 5th grade graduation from Westminster Elementary School. And I needed to take pictures of Jane. And I just said, could you take the baby outside or something? And so Jay brought Abigail outside, and well, I could do the math, but she wasn't yet walking because a couple people came over to me and said, your husband is is outside with the baby. And I said, I know, I sent him out there. No, the baby's crawling around in the parking lot. And then somebody sent me a picture. So I have, and by sent a picture, this would have been, Abigail was born in 1998. So this would have been like 2000. So nobody even had iPhones then. Somebody actually took this photo, printed it, and gave it to me. So Jay wrote a story about hunters and gatherers, and it's kind of funny. A Lifetime of Clutter, last month, well, I guess I'll bring this up now. A very popular story last month was A Lifetime of Clutter. I'm not doing this to my children. This guy's gonna go because, see, what happened is he fell off the mantle. My mother repaired him. We laugh, but we don't need a broken statue that my mother band-aided together. So this guy's gonna go, but he was the star of my last month's story called Lifetime of Clutter. I'm not gonna do that to my kids. But this month's theme is paper clutter, and I truly have a lot. But I have some tips and some tricks and a lot of still more paper to declutter. But this is called the paper pile problem, and every month I'm going to add to the series of what I'm decluttering, and based on how many cables and wires and cords and who the hell knows what else I came across while looking for my kilowatt meter for the Holy Electric Bill story. There'll be an electronics decluttering story one of these months. But this month is A Lifetime of Clutter, the paper pile problem. 5+ stars for Higgins Energy Alternatives. So I'm always cold. When I get to the age where I might have hot flashes, I don't know if I will know of them. I might just be like, oh, I'm finally warm. So I'm always freezing, and our fireplace was beautiful in that it was big, and the fires were big and like caveman fires. And but I always kind of wondered, like, how safe is that? And we get the chimney cleaned every year, but we'd never had it scoped or anything like that. And it's a very high chimney. And we had a wood stove at our old house that we had gotten from Higgins Energy Alternatives in Barre. And it just made everything so cozy. And so then I was kind of thinking about it. And sometimes when I want something, I have to do all the research first so that I can be ready for the objections. And so I called Higgins to find out what a wood insert would be like. And I know some people are like, oh, you should have gotten gas. You should have gotten pellet. Well, you do you. I don't want pellet. I don't want gas. We like burning wood. We live in the woods and we like to go find our own kindling and all that stuff. So I talked with Chris Jensen at Higgins, and he told me, this was probably October, and he told me about energy, federal tax credit of $2,000 if we were to buy it and have it installed by the end of the year. So my persuasiveness needed to happen fast. But we did it. We got it. We went to Higgins, and Jay's objection, which totally fair, was he did not want to lose the visual of the fire because we have a big open concept, living, kitchen, dining, and the fireplace is sort of the center of it. So he didn't want to just like close it all up. So I've got a couple photos in there. We went with the brand Lopi, L-O-P-I, and it's the large, so it's got a large glass front, and it's just really beautiful. It's very contemporary. So, you pick your visual of it. They have the box, and then you pick what you want your door to look like. And we're still learning it. It has an automatic fan when you reach a certain temperature. You can shut the fan off if you want. You can't turn it on manually, but you can turn it off manually if you want, if it's turned on. And at first I thought, maybe that's what made my electric bill go crazy. But I don't think it's true, because the reason we got the $2,000 tax credit is because it's energy efficient. And I'm noticing that the furnace is not kicking on as much, but you want to be careful to not freeze your pipes if you have an alternative heat source, but we have forced hot air, so it's not a problem. So 5 stars for Higgins. Chris Jensen was great. Marco was great. The 2 guys who came carrying a huge wood stove inside our house and dealing with our dogs, just 5+ stars for Higgins and Barre. I did a reprint of my I Love Board Games That Make Me Laugh, because I don't laugh often, but if I think of our Taboo games, we love Taboo. Telestrations is great. Pictionary I like, but Taboo just cracks me up. So I reprinted that story. Cool adult learning opportunities. So I got my real estate license almost on a whim, and it's just been life-changing in all kinds of ways, good and bad, mostly good. But I went to Assabet Voc Tech, Assabet After Dark. So every year when I get the Assabet catalog, the Monty Tech catalog, and the Alpha catalog, I put them together and call them Cool Adult Learning Opportunities. So whether you're looking for a career change or just some cooking advice, or you want to learn calligraphy, there's so many things, and they're cheap and they're local. So featured listing this week. I have a new listing that is 19 Hubbardston Road in Princeton. It is, it actually has a sign on the door that it says it's called the Snuggery, which I don't even know what that is. But it's $475,000. It was a school. It was moved, it was from 1834. It's a very unique house, fun. The video is funny because it was just blizzarding out at the time. So 19 Hubbardston Road in Princeton. If you see this video or you see any of my videos, I would encourage you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, which I never thought I would be saying a year ago. But I hired a coach to help me improve some things about my processes in real estate. And one of the things she wanted me to do is video. So that is why I'm here. But if you subscribe to my YouTube channel, then that will be helpful. There's a link on the newsletter to subscribe, and you can also subscribe underneath any video. So I have joined the Wachusett Garden Club. I invite people to come to check out a meeting. If you don't like to walk into something on your own for the first time ever, I am more than happy to go to a meeting with you. They're casual. It's like not expensive to join. It's like, I think $20 a year. They have an incredible plant sale in May. I've learned how to prune my rhododendrons. I made a terrarium. I'm going to a bonsai making class. You can join, or you can go to the meetings or not go to the meetings. But it's interesting, and they have a lot of like field trips and things like that. Resource stories. I always have resource stories. If you can think of a resource story that I should have that I don't have, just let me know. Where to get firewood near me, where to go for ice cream, where to get breakfast, where to go to the landfill in your town, how to recycle in your town. I've got about pushing 60 resource stories now. So there's a link to all of them on my newsletter. And once you're on the website, you can search just resource. Reminder that I love my Google reviews and I would love to get 100 of them this year. So if we've ever worked together, or if you, if I've been a resource for you, if you just like my newsletter, you could just Google me, and you just have to spell the name right. It's Shenk, and just click write a review. I appreciate that. And I also appreciate people who send me their loved ones, their families, their friends, their neighbors, their out-of-state cousin. I just actually had a few this month. I had a closing that is in Maine. Somebody from here wanted to buy in Maine, and I found the perfect real estate broker for her to work with, and she has closed, and all good feedback. So Google reviews, referrals. Popular from last month. Well, we had this one. What else did we have that was popular from last month? Oh, we had what to do if your dog goes missing. So that's important. So just use that, like, know that, oh my God, my dog went missing. JenShenk.com. Just search dog missing and that will come up. Upcoming listings. I have a lot of upcoming listings, and when I'm thinking about them, they're mainly Westminster, Princeton, Ashburnham, but that's no surprise. I've got one coming up next week in Lunenburg. I've got a few of them where people are waiting. It could be a week, it could be a month, it could be a year. They're buying first and then selling. So a lot of people are preparing. I'm excited for a few very unique listings coming up. But if you're looking for something specific, I have a buyer list of things we're looking for as well. I'm looking for a buyer is looking for a house under 500,000, preferably Westminster, room to garden. I have a buyer who doesn't have a specific budget. They mainly want, they prefer Westminster or surrounding towns. Looking for a very impressive garage and a first floor bedroom. You know who you are. I have people looking just in every price point. There just aren't enough listings, and that's what keeps the real estate machine moving. But coming up very soon, I've got Lunenburg, Westminster, Princeton, almost on repeat, just only one in Lunenburg. Oh, I forgot about this. So, true story. My son bought me a hat that said WPI. Whoops. And I was like, oh, shoot, Adam, you should get me a WPI mom hat. He's like, Mom, they don't have WPI mom hats. So I set out to find a source to mom my WPI hat. Obviously, I didn't succeed. But, I took to Facebook to see who could recommend a place that could over-embroider knit on my hat. And I've tried all the obvious places, but a lot of the commercial places, they have like certain machines have to do certain things, and I just was not having any luck. And then my friend / client, Laura, thank you, Laura, brought me into a text message with a lady, Tracy, and I asked Tracy if she could do what I wanted, and she said unfortunately she could not. She only does small custom embroidery. And I looked at her Etsy store, and it was amazing. And she does embroidery on this type of hat, on onesies, on other things, but it's so precious. So I got a friend a Carhartt hat with like flowers embroidered all around it as a mommy and me set for her and her baby. And then last month, I wrote a story about how impressed I was with the car dealership, which that takes a lot. And that I bought my new vehicle from, and that sales guy, Marcus, had a Carhartt hat on both times I was there. So I said, you know what, he needs another Carhartt hat. So I had her embroider a little, you got the logo here, and it was a little white truck with a little chrome bumper and the little lights, so cute. And I mailed it to him, and he immediately sent me a picture of himself wearing it, and he thanked me for supporting a local business because he and his wife love supporting local businesses. So the name of this embroidery is called Heart and Hand Embroidery. You can find her items in a store in Ashby. She has an Etsy store, and she's got a Facebook page. So, and I think an Instagram. So I wrote a story about that, and I just loved that she, you'd have to read the story, but she was challenged and encouraged by the fact that I had such a good attitude when she could not mom my WPI hat, that she just like feels good about it. And she now does all kinds of custom embroidery and, you know, kind of reads the room and sees what people might want, and she embroiders it. So I spent $6 on this mom bling. It hurts my head to wear it, but I guess that's the only way I'm going to have my WPI mom hat. So that concludes a very long video, and if you watched it all, I'm grateful. Actually, I had somebody last month tell me that she was working on favors for an upcoming wedding, and she listened to my newsletter intro while she was doing that. So whatever my newsletter does for you, I just really appreciate everyone's feedback. I love that people like reading my local and hokey stories. I like coming up with, like, I'll just do something so like basic and I'll be like, that's a story. I'm going to write about that. So jenshenk.com. If I can help with anything, all my contact info is below. Come to my open houses, text me anytime, friend me on Facebook. I'm just here as a local resource, and I'm happy to help with anything I can. And I will see you in April.